Welcome back. South Africa is still in the throes of an energy crisis. Many people are now pinning their hopes on renewable energy solutions. As part of the country's independent power producer procurement program, this company, Enel Green Power, has connected its sixth wind farm to the country's grid. For more on this, let's speak to the country manager, Manuel Batiste, who's joining us now on Daytime Update. A very good afternoon to you, sir. Welcome to the program. So let's talk about wind farms and what they're actually able to do at this point in alleviating the pressure on the grid.
Thank you very much for hosting me, and pleasure being with you. And clearly we are trying to do our part. So we are a renewable operator. We have wind and solar projects, and we just connected some project in the grid. We're really trying to give our help. So and wind clearly can inject power, which is clean, which is stable, and even less affected by fluctuation of the market overseas of commodities.
6 wind farms you're running now. How much are they adding as far as actual electricity?
Well, it's pretty relevant. So far, our global, our country installation counts basically 20% of the overall renewable power, and really can inject capacity. So the single project can inject 500 gigawatt hour of capacity, which counts basically a very small city if compared to the number of households that you can electrify.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of renewable energy in the bigger picture for South Africa and the energy crisis, where should we be looking to next? Are we on the right track as a country as far as exploration of renewables as a means by which to plug the big hole currently as far as energy provision?
Well, you know, the country is really blessed of solar and wind, and really is in the right direction. The government implemented some years ago a very good plan, which is the REAP, and now also the private customers are moving in the same direction, signing contract with renewables. So now more and more the renewable will fill the gap of the electricity generation.
And just on the point that you were making about where we are at this point, there's been a lot of debate, and we had on a guest, in fact, earlier in the week who was saying that there's a misconception that solar or renewables are just as easy as a plug-in and off you go, you've got power, and that it's perhaps more intricate, more complicated than many of us have been led to believe. How easy or difficult have you found it to be?
Well, it's true that solar and wind, more than being the cheapest solution, are also the quickest, but still they require some time to be implemented. You can consider a construction of a solar plant being 1 year, construction of a wind plant being a couple of years. So as usual, you have to move a little bit in advance. As a developer, we already have a pipeline of many projects to be plugged in. The point in time is now to really sign contract with either the government or private customers to start the construction. Some projects are already entering into operation this year, and the next ones will come in operation hopefully next year and following.
So a shorter wait compared to, let's say, building an actual power station, but still you do have to wait.
Well, the wave is already ongoing. Let's say you have to wait for projects that you are starting up right now, but there are already projects in pipeline that will be connected this year and again already in 2023. So it's a long job. It's an extensive job that will create also a lot of new skills in the country, which is already a reach of many.
You talk about creating opportunities and new skills in South Africa in the energy space. At the moment, we have coal-powered power stations, and that creates a lot of work throughout the value chain when you look at even the miners who then dig up the coal and ultimately to the point where it gets to Eskom's facilities and it's used to generate power. Will renewables be able to substitute those numbers?
Well, the fuel substitution, an immediate one, is very hard. No? And of course, the just transition is the driver for all the decisions that government and private have to take. Renewable can take its part, so there are a lot of jobs that can be created. Construction of one power plant can count up to 1,000, 1,500 people, plus some hundreds are directly employed during development and operation. But there are many other jobs that are created not only in the large facility, but also in the overall business of renewables, like retail, electricians, and many other jobs. Substitution is hard, again, but we have to start some way.
Just finally then, how would we get around that issue? Because South Africa is in an interesting position. As you say, it'll take a while to get the substitution for job creation in place. But in South Africa, you also have a heavily unionized sector as far as the employees at the power stations who will say, while we do need to go greener, we also still need to make sure that South Africans, especially in the unskilled categories, have work. So do you expect that to be a strong point of resistance?
To some extent. On the other side, the industry in any country, and in South Africa as well, is driven by the cost of energy. And the cost of energy can be dropped down with the use of renewables. So the intention for us is to do our part in terms of job and skill creation, to do a lot of trainings also for unskilled personnel, and also on top of that to create and boost the overall industry and hiring people not only in the energy and electricity business but also elsewhere.
Manuel Baptiste, a pleasure to have your time. Country manager, speaking to us there about developments to do with his country manager at EGP South Africa. Thank you very much for your time.